I'm Sonia Faloyan, and this is my YouTube channel, Mind and Manna. This YouTube channel is primarily for Black women who are interested in improving their finances in order to level up to a more intentional way of life that includes freedom, joy, and ease. The reason I'm focusing on Black women is while I understand that as women we all share certain issues and concerns, but my focus on Black women is because of the tremendous wealth gap in our communities. And I really believe that if we are focusing on women and girls, we're going to change not just that woman's life and the girl's lives, but we're going to change a whole family and a community. And because of historical barriers that have traditionally prevented some upward mobility of Black women, and because Black women's labor is intrinsically tied to white women's freedom, I think it's important to be able to have a channel where we can address our own concerns. Everyone is welcome to listen here and benefit, but I think it's also perfectly fine to address my own community and the particular needs that we have. So with that being said, I want to talk a little bit today about safety issues for women who are living abroad. Excuse me, I've got a little nose thing going on here. There's a couple things I want to say. Number one is there is the use of the term expatriate or expat. Although I am living abroad in Mexico, I am not comfortable in using the term expatriate or expat because there are some white supremacist issues in terms of the use of that word. That word is typically used for Western countries, white people who live in Western countries like the United States, Canada, but people who are in other countries, Black and brown countries or countries that are not in the West, are called immigrants. So I'm choosing not to use the word expat because I am just not sure about my relationship with that word yet, but I am a Black woman living abroad. So I want to go ahead and talk about some safety issues to be thinking about in your travels abroad and outside of your home country. The first one is it's really important to imitate the local dress code. If you're in a community that's very casual, it's important to kind of try to blend in as much as possible. You want to become as much a part of the community as you can. It's important to maintain your own community, your own personality and culture, of course. But if you're in a community where there's not a lot of wealth, or if people are very casual, or if people share their wealth within their family or in the confines of their home, then ostentatious jewelry, ostentatious clothing will bring undue attention to yourself, and also could be a safety issue because people may assume that you have a lot of money and you could be setting yourself up to be robbed. I know here in Mexico, there is a beautiful culture, rich culture of textiles and colors and fabrics. So much is going on here. But I also know that a lot of that full flavor happens inside the confines of a home or a compound or during festive occasions. So keep your ostentatious jewelry, big diamonds, gold chains. Be aware of your surroundings and dress on the side of conservatism as opposed to ostentatiousness. The next one is don't walk alone at night. If you don't know your neighborhood, if you don't know the community, keep yourself safe. Don't let people into your home that you are not, who you don't know. Don't share your keys. Don't share any additional information. If you are in a community and you have had a chance to understand it and learn it, and you feel comfortable walking at night, if the streets are well lit, if it's a community where people are out and about, that's another matter. But when you're in a community that you don't know the environment or the circumstances, use common sense and don't walk alone or in places that you're just unfamiliar with. Get a chance to know your community, where you are, before you venture out in a way that might jeopardize your safety. And of course, we know that anything can happen in the daytime too, But nighttime, of course, brings a whole nother vibe and element. So you have to really pay attention to your environment and use common sense. The next one, of course, is don't hitchhike and don't use taxis that are unlicensed. If you don't know the driver, if you don't know the company, don't use it. Don't use off-brand modes of transportation. I would rather get on a public bus than get in a car with someone who's not reputable. Okay, that's common sense. Use common sense. If you're in a Didi or if you're in an Uber, take precautions. Let people know where you're riding. Your driver, when you are in the car, make a call to let somebody know where you are. Just be cautious and aware of your surroundings and use common sense again. The next one is know where you're going. You want to carry a map or a business card of your hotel or address. It's really easy to get out and about and forget to leave some things in your hotel or where you're staying. So make sure you have a way to know where you are and how to get back once you get out. The next one is to refuse unwanted advances very politely but firmly. Here in Mexico, I have noticed that men are very attentive, very polite, but very attentive. And because the country is kind, there's a lot of touching. People hold hands here. Husbands and boyfriends and girlfriends, lovers, don't mind sharing their public displays of affection. When you meet people, they are often very warm and embracing. So navigating comfort level with different cultures is very, very important. Always stay within your own comfort zone. It's okay to let people know that, they're coming on a little bit too quickly or too fast. It's okay to let people know that you want to get a chance to know them and find yourself first. But know your culture. Know the local customs. Where I am, people are very, very affectionate and open and warm. So I am always balancing my own comfort with also not wanting to be standoffish in another culture. So again, it comes with understanding your community. Do some reading up ahead of time about where you are, how people express greetings to each other, and always be polite and don't be afraid to ask questions. Along with that it's not a bad idea to wear a wedding ring. So although I'm not married at the present time, I do wear a ring when I'm in unfamiliar places. Most people respect that as a universal sign of commitment. So what I find is that, again, people have been very, very genuinely warm and open, very attentive, very polite. Men will comment and compliment me on my hair a lot, on my skin. I have not received any unwanted advances, but I do notice that they are very quick to come into personal space. So when I'm in a new community and I don't know where I am, I do wear these rings, just to provide just an additional boundary for myself. The next one is, of course, don't use recreational drugs. Laws are different in outside of the United States. CBD products or cannabis products, you don't want to take a chance of getting arrested and being in a jail outside of your country. Laws are different, so you want to know where you are in terms of what the laws are about. And it's just not a good use. It's not a good idea to be high anyway, especially when you're outside of your normal confines. That's a whole nother discussion probably for another video, but don't use recreational drugs. Don't get drunk. Don't get high. Don't compromise yourself or your position because you don't want to cause other problems down the road. Common sense again is if you're out somewhere and you order a drink of any kind, don't leave your drink unattended. You don't want anybody putting something in your drink, spiking it, so that you are incapacitated later on. So don't leave your drinks unattended. Another common sense thing that I wanted to note was, of course, don't go off with people you don't know. Don't go off with strangers. Don't leave your venue with somebody you just met. And although this sounds very common sense, when people are compromised or they're not using their best judgment, oftentimes decisions are made that are not in their best judgment, and there are terrible consequences later. The next one is don't give out personal details of your address, your hotel, any of those things. You might want to make reference of your boyfriend or of your husband or of your family who's waiting for you. Don't share information that can haunt you later. And the other one is to be aware of local gender roles and different dating rules abroad. Oftentimes, the reality is that Black women are often seen as exotic and we're fetishized. So be aware of that when you are talking with people, or if you're interested in dating or having romantic relationships. Understand that could be a dynamic that would need to be sorted out. But also trust your gut. It's really important to trust your gut in these situations. You want to enjoy yourself and take advantage of the local customs, the attention that comes, but use common sense, of course, with all of this. The next thing I want to say is when you're traveling in another city, it's a good idea to have a second phone, a burner phone that has your information in it. Countless times, people will leave a cell phone in an Uber, or they may leave it at a restaurant and they go back to retrieve their phone and it's gone. And we do everything now with our cell phones and through the internet. So it's not a bad idea to carry a second cheap phone in case your main phone gets lost. It's a good safety precaution. And the final thing that I will say today is when you're out and traveling, take only the documents and the cards and the money that's necessary. You don't need to take all of your credit cards, all of your debit cards. What I notice here in Mexico is that the thievery that I am aware of has been pickpocketing, but also there are professional credit card thieves who are able to lift your cards out of your purse or wallet without you knowing it. If you've unknowingly left things down or you're not paying attention, or they work in groups. Maybe one or two people will come and engage you in a conversation while in the meantime someone else is lifting your wallet. They don't take your money, but they are after your cards. So take only those things that are necessary and only the cash that is necessary. Be aware of whether you're in a community that will allow credit card usage, or maybe it's a community that only allows or prefers you to use the local money. Pay attention to those things and stay safe. So that's what I wanted to share with you, just some basic common sense safety tips that you want to think about when you're traveling overseas. Again, understanding the local customs are really, really important. I think one more thing I'll add is, and which I will add to most of my videos, is try to learn some of the local language. Learn some of the local language. Don't go abroad and refuse to get with the program, the local program. What I find is that when people are willing to learn the local language and customs, it says a lot about their ability to become a part of that community. And people are very kind and welcoming, generally speaking, when you make those attempts. Oftentimes, when we are standoffish and we refuse, we expect the culture to bow to us. That does create feelings of discomfort and resentment, and that can come back to harm us. So make an attempt to use the language, learn common greetings, courtesy greetings in the language where you are, because I think that can also contribute to your overall safety and well-being. So again, thank you so much for watching this today. And you can reach out to me in my private Facebook group, which is called Mexodus Sojourners, and it's for women who are really interested in taking a sojourn from the United States to consider moving abroad or to another place, who might just want to take an extended break to recenter and regroup, maybe make a leap into the next step of their lives, next chapter of their lives. So I'll put some links at the bottom, and I thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on this video. It will really help me. This is a relatively new channel that I've relaunched, and I would really appreciate your support. So thank you so much, and stay safe.